in the rugged mountains of Afghanistan. A routine mission for a 22-man SEAL team was about to turn into a fight for their very survival. This is the incredible story of Operation Red Wings and the legendary sniper who turned the tide when all hope seemed lost. It was June 2005. A 4-man SEAL reconnaissance team, led by Lieutenant Michael Murphy, was inserted deep into enemy territory in the Korangil Valley. Their mission: to locate a high-value Taliban leader. But their cover was blown by local goat herders, and soon they were facing a force of over 100 heavily armed fighters. Pinned down on a treacherous mountain ridge, the 4 men fought valiantly against overwhelming odds. The firefight was brutal. Communication was down, and they were surrounded. The situation was dire. 3 of the 4 SEALs, including Lieutenant Murphy, were tragically killed in the intense battle. Lieutenant Murphy, in his final moments, exposed himself to enemy fire to make a desperate satellite phone call for help, an act of heroism that would earn him the Medal of Honor. The lone survivor of the initial team was Petty Officer Marcus Luttrell. Wounded and disoriented, he was blown off the ridge by a rocket-propelled grenade. As he struggled to survive, a quick reaction force was dispatched to rescue the compromised team. 2 MH-47 Chinook helicopters, packed with 16 Special Operations soldiers, 8 SEALs, and 8 Army Night Stalkers raced towards the battle. But tragedy struck again, as one of the Chinook's call sign Turbine 33 attempted to insert troops. It was hit by an RPG. The helicopter spiraled out of control and crashed, killing all 16 men aboard. In a matter of hours, the U.S. Special Operations community had suffered one of its deadliest days since World War II. The rescue mission had become a recovery mission. Now, a much larger force was mobilized. Dozens of SEALs, Rangers, and other special operators descended on the region to recover their fallen brothers and hunt for any survivors. Among them was a 22-man SEAL platoon, tasked with securing the crash site of Turbine 33 as they moved through the treacherous terrain. They walked straight into a perfectly planned ambush. The enemy was waiting, concealed in fortified positions on the high ground. They unleashed a devastating barrage of machine gun fire and RPGs. The SEALs were caught in a deadly crossfire, pinned down in a kill zone with nowhere to go. The fire was so intense, so accurate, that the platoon leader radioed back to base with a grim message: "We are in a situation where we are probably all going to die." The men prepared for the worst, fighting back with everything they had, but they were outnumbered and outgunned. They were trapped. It felt like the end. Just as the SEALs believed they were doomed, a single, thunderous crack echoed from a cliff face high above the battle. An enemy machine gunner, who had been tearing into the SEAL's position, suddenly slumped over, silenced. A moment later, another shot, and another enemy fighter fell. Then another. One by one, the enemy fighters who held the tactical advantage were being picked off with surgical precision. The ambushed SEALs were stunned. Who was firing? It wasn't them. The shots were coming from a seemingly impossible position, a sheer, rocky outcrop hundreds of meters away, a spot no one thought could be occupied. Confusion turned to hope as they realized what was happening. Someone was watching over them. A ghost in the mountains was methodically dismantling the enemy ambush. That ghost was Chris Kyle. Yes, the Chris Kyle, who would later become known as the American Sniper. At the time, he was a seasoned SEAL sniper attached to the recovery force. While other units were focused on different sectors, Kyle and his spotter had found a hangul perch overlooking the valley. They had been observing the area when they spotted the ambush unfolding below. Without hesitation, Kyle went to work. From a distance of over 800 yards, he began engaging the enemy. The angle was extreme, the targets were well covered, and the pressure was immense. Every shot had to count. His weapon of choice was a Mk-12 Special Purpose Rifle, a weapon not typically used for such long-range engagements. But in the hands of a master, it was a deadly instrument. Kyle's fire was so effective that it completely broke the back of the enemy attack. He created chaos and confusion in their ranks, forcing them to abandon their fortified positions. The relentless, accurate fire from an unseen angel of death gave the pinned-down SEALs the breathing room they desperately needed. It allowed them to regroup, treat their wounded, and begin to fight their way out of the kill zone. For what felt like an eternity, Kyle remained on that cliff, providing overwatch. His shots allowed the 22 men on the ground to consolidate, call in air support, and eventually turn the tables on their attackers. The enemy, who had been on the verge of wiping out an entire SEAL platoon, were now routed and forced to retreat. The battle wasn't over, but the critical moment had passed. The 22 SEALs, who just moments before had accepted their fate, were now back in the fight, thanks to the impossible shots from a hidden sniper. They would later learn that it was their fellow SEAL, Chris Kyle, who had saved them from certain death. This engagement became one of the many legendary stories surrounding Chris Kyle, highlighting his incredible skill, calmness under fire, and his unwavering dedication to protecting his brothers in arms. It was a stark reminder that in the chaos of war, sometimes the difference between life and death is a single, well-aimed shot from a guardian angel on a distant cliff. The story of Operation Red Wings is one of unimaginable sacrifice and heroism. But hidden within that larger tragedy is this incredible tale of survival, where 22 men stared death in the face and were pulled back from the brink by one of the greatest snipers in modern history. Thank you for watching. If you found this story as incredible as we did, please like, share, and subscribe for more amazing stories from history. We'll see you in the next one.